The melding together of the rock influences with jazz is what really made it a whole new, avenue. Because prior to that, that didn't exist. Rock was rock and jazz was jazz, and there wasn't a lot of fusion going on. Hendrix to me was I didn't look at Jimi as like the most amazing guitar player. Jimi to me was a phenomenal musician. He was all around. He had this great voice. He had a great look. He was the whole package. Not many of us in fusion could say that because a lot of us didn't sing. We didn't have that voice, and we didn't have the flamboyancy of a lot of these rock guys. And so, but it came out in our playing. And the three bands were Mahavishnu and Return to Forever, Weather Report. Each band, especially Return to Forever and Mahavishnu, were more technique oriented, and that was an exciting thing about fusion that had a backlash to it, had another side to it that the straight ahead jazz critics, were quick to point out, But man, we had all this energy. We had to get it out somehow. I was fortunate because I was in the band that had probably the most composed music. Mahavishnu was less composed and more about technique, I would say. Weather Report was more conceptual. You couldn't tell if it was improvised or loosely constructed, and it had its own vibe that was beautiful. When Jaco joined Weather Report is when it really came together for me. It was, and for most of us, that was the strongest, I think, unit. And those were the days when records were selling the most. Right in that pocket of time, the end of the '70s was the healthiest record environment in the history of records. Jaco was a rock star. That's the difference. He crossed over because of image and the way his actions, his way, right on down to this. It was a whole rock star lifestyle, that went along with this virtuosity. That record, Heavy Weather, came out exactly the same week as my record, Elegant Gypsy. So both records being on Columbia, they decided to do, put a lot of money into the promotion and do a co-bill tour, which is what we did. And so we toured the United States, and that was Jaco's first tour. It was just so amazing because it was like I was coming out of Return to Forever, and it was, at a high point, and here I am, and I make Land of Midnight Sun, and quickly I make Elegant Gypsy. And Elegant Gypsy was when it all came together. I had Jan Hammer on the record, and Steve Gadd and Anthony Jackson. And Jaco played on the record right before, so Heavy Weather coming out, it was like, wow, what is this? So both records hitting, a lot of promotion, sold out shows across the country, people going crazy. It was really exciting. It was like something that we don't have anymore, quite the same, different. But then it was at its peak.